Hi there. If you're here, that means you want to learn how to time a song for karaoke using a program like Performous or Ultrastar or fucking whatever the hell people invented nowadays. So, the first thing you'll need is two programs. First off, you'll need Ultrastar Creator, and second off, you will need Yass, this boy. Links are in the description for both of those programs. So yeah, make sure you've got those. Next, you'll need some files. You will need the song itself, and you will need the lyrics to the song, which we'll look up in a bit. There are other files you might want as well, such as a video clip or a cover image or a background image. These are all options. You don't have to have those. You can just have an MP3 and the lyrics and you're done. But most people, at least have a cover image for things. And you usually also have a background or a video. And sometimes both. So, let's get started then. We need the lyrics. So, in this case, we are going to time the opening song of Yakusoku no Neverland. So, Neverland, we type that in. This is the fucking fourth time I've done this shite. And then, boom, we found the opening. Right, you just go to lyrical. This is what I use, this site. If you use a different site, great. Just find the lyrics. Hop over to the readable version, I assume. You want that. And then you copy the lyrics. And then you open up Ultrastar Creator. You say, hey, I want to time this MP3 file. And then you paste the lyrics in there. In my case, you also remove the advertisement. Then you need to split the song into syllables. Because that is how you time things for Ultrastar. You time it by syllables, so you just put your pluses at the right places. Obviously, this is better if you listen to the song, but I can't do that because I'm recording it, so that would be copyright infringement. Oops. But I will take a guess. So something like this, I think. Occasionally you also need to edit some line breaks. Also, you occasionally need to remove some fucking spaces from the end of sentences. Who the fuck? Anyway. 知る前に導火線見つけてそこに fire. Yes. Now, because otherwise it would take too long, this is all we're going to time with the song. And by time, I mean I'm just going to put the notes randomly around, and that'll be fine. Cool. Now, there's all these things here that you want to fill in. I'm not going to fill them in because the last time I filled them in, the fucking program crashed. So obviously, OBS is fucking something up, and I don't want to fucking do that, but you just put the title here, you put the artist here, you put your language, you choose Japanese or English or German or whatever the hell you're timing it in. In addition, I personally put what show it's from, and if not, then I don't put anything there, right? I put a short description, essentially, right? For a lot of them, I have like Benji's obscure indie shit, right? For my obscure indie songs that I like to time. Put your year in, genre, I don't think anybody searches by genre, but addition is nice to fill in with things that people will type in to look for the song. So the anime it's from, or whatever, just anything, right? Anything that's relevant to people finding that particular song. Then here you can select, it will auto-detect like file types that it can use. So in this case, cool, we got a video in MP4, we got a cover, don't have a cover actually, or a background, but if it found JPEGs or PNG files, it would display those. in that selector box, and here is the BPM, what it thinks the BPM is, by looking at the MP3 file, which is usually correct. So now I've got all of this. Then if you know the song is particularly fast, use this slider here to say, hey, I want it X fast. And yeah, also, the first time you start up this program, you will get this annoying fucking dude called Monty, who doesn't show up now. But you can press this button to make him go away forever. Goodbye. Out of here. Then, what you do is you time the song. So there's this giant play button here, and then you put your hand on the spacebar to be ready. Then you click play, and you just time the song, right? Blah blah blah. You listen to the song, you're like, ah, yes, this is totally correctly. Yep, this is all perfect. Fan-fucking-tastic. Yep, 10 out of 10. And then once you're done with the song, it'll say, hey, you want to try again? No, I do not. So then you save the file. Cool, great. Now, say that you're timing it and you make a mistake, right? So like, I'm timing the song. Oops, I accidentally made a mistake. I want to go back. Use the X key, which is conveniently right above the spacebar, to go back, and then you can retime it all again. And that's how you fix your mistakes. Be careful if you're backing up over line breaks, because as you can see, if you look at the text file now, you have this line here, and you have this line here, but you have this line break in the middle of them, and it's, if you can see the timestamp of it, is actually after this, and that's a problem because it just gets confused when it's reading this file, and you don't want this. So if you're fixing things across a line break, just wipe the entire line, and then continue from, okay, now it's doing the same. There you go. Wipe like one more character back, and then you can fix where the line break is as well. And then you can just time the entire song. Cool, done. Now I already clicked save, but I actually want a timed song real quick. Give me a moment. Great thing about having two keyboards, you can tap twice as fast. So great, save the file. Save the file, yes, of course I want to replace it. And then this little button here lights up. If you have Yass installed, then you can hit this button to automatically open it in Yass, which is what we use to edit the file. We use this to create the file, and we use this to edit the file. So here we have it, the file. Now, if you look at it, you see that there's a lot of gaps in between the syllables, which aren't there in real life, right? When you listen to the song, it's not like they're not like they're singing in staccato, unless they are, in which case, cool. But they usually aren't. So that is where Yass comes in very handy. The first thing I usually do is I select the entire song by hitting Control Page Down. As you can see, entire song selected. Then I extend the duration of every single syllable. And then I go through the entire song line by line, see if I did everything correctly, move it around a bit. Usually the entire song is out of sync by a couple of beats or a couple of subdivisions, in which case you need to just Control Page Down, move the entire song back and forth, or what is more preferred is you go into here and you move the gap back and forth. That is preferred because that way you don't get negative timestamps, which Performance does not like. Now, you may be asking yourself, but how do I do all this magical stuff like moving notes around and making them longer? Well, let me give you a nice tutorial on Yass. So here we have a delicious 20 subdivision long note. Well, what are we going to do with this? Now, as you can see, we have selected it, which you can see here by this being selected, and also by this being blue-ish, whereas these are not blue. So there are 3 modifiers and the arrow keys that you're going to be using. The arrow keys just move what you have selected. So left and right moves only between syllables in the same sentence and words in the same sentence. And then up and down moves across entire lines at once. So if you want to go, oh, I want to go get to the third thing of the third line, then you do third thing of third line. Cool. Now, if you're holding shift, you move the entire thing back and forth, which is hard to see here because it looks like it's shrinking, but as you can see, the number there, it still says 20 because it is still 20 beats long, because you see that we're actually zooming out and not anything else. So if I go to something more in the middle of something, you can see, oh yes, I'm moving it around by holding shift. You can see that both sides of the note light up because you're grabbing it by both sides and moving it somewhere. You can... Shh, you saw nothing. That's what happens when you press Control Alt. Don't do that. Pro tip. That's a Windows hotkey to rotate your screen. Hey, but Control and Alt are things you will need. Control moves the start of a note, which again is bad to see here. Let me go here. Control moves just the start of a note, and Alt moves just the end of a note. You can also, if you're holding Control, you can move the pitch of the note up and down in case you want to actually properly time a karaoke file. Wow. But that's way too much hassle for me, so I don't do that. Because when I'm singing it, I don't have the fucking note display either. I'm not doing it for points that the game decides to award me. I do it because it's fun to sing things with friends. So, you can also use the numpad. Numpad 4 and 6 move left and right. Numpad 5 plays a particular note. Spacebar also plays a note, but 5 plays it and synthesizes. You can't hear it because sound off because copyright. But it synthesizes the pitch that you have that note on currently. So if you're trying to get the pitch right on all your syllables, then you can use this and it'll synthesize. But spacebar also plays that plays what you have selected, and P plays the entire sentence you're currently in. If you select more than that, like Control Page Down, and you press space, it'll play literally all of it. If you have multiple sentences selected, like such, then it'll play what you have selected and then stop. Like that. Now, going back to here. Using the numpad, 1 and 3 moves the entire thing as if you're holding shift and using the arrow keys. Also, whenever you do anything with a numpad, it plays the note. Actually, I'm not sure if pressing 5 synthesizes. I don't remember. Shit. I might be lying to you. Oh no. I'll teach you how to synthesize things manually in a bit. So 1 and 3 moves it back and forth. 4 and 6 selects, just like the arrow keys left and right. And then 8 and 2 act like arrow keys up and down. Now, these do not play the note once you select them. They only play the note when you change the note. So, 7 and 9 change how long the note is. So if you're trying to find it just right and you don't want to constantly be pressing space, use the numpad. And if you're like, oh, I know it's about this, and you want to do something quickly, because you can't do it as quickly because you have to wait for like the little delay as it starts to play things before you can input the next one. But if you're holding Alt, you can just go ham. And there's no delay. So the numpad and both the Shift Control Alt are both very useful ways to use it. You can also use your mouth. You can just drag it back and forth. You can drag the start of it. You can drag the ass end of it, and you can drag it. You can drag it left and right, but it locks you into the direction that you start dragging it in. So I suggest not using the mouse, removing it. Now, this button also plays the entire sentence, and this button plays just a syllable. Again, if you want to use a mouse, cool. Now, you might notice that this stuff appears when you hover over something. This is how you fix your syllables. These buttons are all cool, but it's usually not one you want to use unless you do a particular mistake, which I will explain in a bit. You know what I also was going to explain in a bit, which I will explain now actually before I explain this, is how to synthesize. There's a piano, boom. You hit the thing and it will synthesize at that pitch, which you can't hear because I have it muted. Let me unmute because this is not copyright infringement. You can see that plays a particular tone at that frequency, or that pitch rather. And then you can hide the keyboard again once you don't need it anymore. This controls how fast the song plays. So if you have a particularly difficult part, you can change the speed up there. And that's the important stuff. So that's really the only ones you're going to be using. And this one displays all the errors, which is usually the last thing you do once you're timing a song, is fix the errors that it detects. So I think we were going to teach you how to do the syllables in Yass. So this mada, oh, that's not split properly because that should be a ma and a da. So we got to fix that. How do we do that? Well, what you do is you just hover over the note in this little upper blue area. You can only do it if it's more than one, right? Otherwise there's no blue area to hover in. But in this light blue area, you just click somewhere and then it splits on that subdivision, splits it into itself and a tilde. And then what you need to do is you need to press F4. If you look here, right now it does nothing, but if I press F4, it turns white. And now I'm in text editing mode, and now I can use the left and right arrows to move back and forth in that text area there. And I can be like, ah, yes, ma, da. So the dot has to go away, and then I press right because I can move between syllables if I go to the edge of one. Like, okay, I want to replace this with a dot and delete the tilde. You don't want to delete the tilde first because then it'll delete the entire syllable. So first you type what you want, and then you delete the placeholder tilde. Unless you want there to be a tilde. For example, if a note is held but changes pitch, that is a case you would want to use a tilde. Then you can just leave the tilde there. Great. So now you can see the mada is split and everything is perfect. If you notice, hey, I accidentally split something that is pronounced as if it was one syllable. Like this, for example, could be pronounced as one syllable. Then what you go is you hover over one of them. Doesn't matter which one. You press the arrow and then it smoothly merges them without doing anything else, which is great. These buttons here don't. They do other things, and you usually don't want to use these unless, like I said, you do a particular mistake, which is where you have the correct rhythm with your tapping in Ultrastar Creator, but you misplaced a syllable end somewhere. Then you can use this to move that syllable and all subsequent syllables throughout the entire song to the right or left, and it will completely mess up the lines. But if you made that mistake, then this will fix that mistake properly. So you can also do this, and then it'll merge the next syllable over into this and shift all that way. And then what you can do is you can split it again, and you can be like, cool. If it detects a space, by the way, if it detects a space in a syllable or a dash in a syllable, then when you split that syllable, it'll automatically move that over. But that's usually not something that happens. Because usually when you're splitting syllables, you're splitting them inside a word, so there's nothing to split there. Nothing to auto-detect, at least. So if you do this, then it will leave you with these like dashes essentially, which is because it sees this as being like part of the same thing. So it inputs a dash there to be like, hey, this is not the end of the word, just as you do in a normal Word document. You put a dash at the end of a line if it's not the end of the word. And then boom, there's the next part of the word. Anyway, I'm just going to undo all of this so that the file doesn't look bad. So that's how you can do that. If you need to move a line end in here, then you can, again, F4 to edit. You can just do that and then put it somewhere else, like at the start of this. If you press enter, then the currently highlighted syllable will be the first syllable of that next sentence, no matter where in that syllable you are. So if I just Control Z, even if I'm standing in the middle of this tsu, once I press enter, the entire tsu gets moved down there. If you want to split the tsu, then you can do it by pressing a dash, as you can see. Then it will also try and do that. But if you do that in the wrong place, then it will move, just as if you did the roll syllable thing, it will move the entire song that way, one. And then you'd have to like somehow fix this by doing like this. Maybe, no, see, that doesn't even fix it. So that's just a bother to fix. Don't do that. Split them first and then type the lyrics correctly. I think that's about all I have to teach you. Aside from the errors, which is the last thing you usually do. So, non-zero first beat. This is a very important error. You never want this because then Performance won't play the song. And that's the worst thing when you're at karaoke night and you put in the song and then it just doesn't play. And you're like, well, fuck. I did all of that and got nothing in return. So, you want to fix that? Boom. Correct. It automatically fixes that by just changing the gap to be 0 at that point. Great. Now, the next thing you want to fix are, we don't actually have those. Let me just create one of those real quick. Boom. Now we've created an error called overlapping pages, not uncommon page break, but overlapping pages, which is where a syllable is overlapping with the end of a line. So this one corrects very neatly because it just moves that over there. So you just hit correct all on that and it corrects all of them throughout the entire song. And then there's stuff like connected notes, which you can safely ignore. And stuff like short page break, which you can also safely ignore because of the way Performance handles this. Things you cannot ignore, by the way, are stuff like, let me just create that problem by doing this. Then it will say, it should say, I said it should say or not, or just doesn't say that. Huh. Interesting. It should say, hey, this sentence is way too fucking... Oh, here we go. Line overflow. Yes. There it is. It says, hey, that line is too long, so you need to fix it. And there is no auto fix for this. So what you have to do is you have to go in there manually and put an enter somewhere, and then it'll fit on screen again. Performance scales the sentence. The problem is that it then also puts in white space in between the syllables to give room for the syllable to expand, the animation as it expands, which then fucks up that scaling that it literally just did, which is really bad. So in order to avoid that, make sure your lines are not too long. Next, actually, no, that's about it. Yeah, I think that's all I really need to teach you. Once you're done, you just hit save here. It saves into that file. If you hit close, it will close it. If you click go to library, or if you boot Yass up throughout some other means, you'll get to this screen. Yes, obviously it is in Composer. You fucking hoser. Oh, right. No, it isn't anymore. Hold up. I changed the name. Karaoke, because I'm no longer using Performance. I haven't, or Composer. I'm using. Words are hard, okay? Boom. Give me a moment. No! Good. Boom, look at that. All of them are here. Great. And then you can just go over to another song and do that. If there are songs that are duets, then you will need to time each person's voice separately. Then you'll have to go into Yass and make sure that they have the same gap. It's difficult to do, but it is very important that you do it, because otherwise the entire you can't merge them as a duet, because to have a merge file as a duet, it only has one gap, and so you need the same gap, because otherwise the entire song will be out of sync. And the way you do that is by just, you have one file with one gap, and you can either make sure that the other file has the exact same gap when you time it with Ultrastar Creator, which is either difficult or results in a gap of 0 and a very long delay by like putting a period at the start of the song, instantly timing it once you hit play. That's how you get like a 0 gap, which is one way to do duets. Or you can wait, put it into Yass, look at the gap of 1, then go over to the other file, input that as its gap. Then your entire song will be out of sync, but then you just need to select the entire song and using Shift and the arrow keys, move it to where it is in sync, and then save it again. So it's one of those two, either one will work, and then you just need to merge them manually, which I will show you how a duet file looks like real quick, which is, hold up. Which one of these is a duet again? None of these. None of these are duets. God damn. No, one of these. I know there's a duet in here somewhere. Hold up. No. Damn it. Do I seriously not have any duets in here? Oh, yeah, I have a duet in here. Hold up. Boom. Great. Here's a duet. What you do is you start with P1 instead of a normal karaoke file. Let me actually show you so you can recognize the difference. Here's a normal one. This one starts with nothing, right? It just goes straight from the tags into the timings, whereas this one has P1 at the start, and then it has scroll. Okay, clearly this one is broken. Oops. It's supposed to have a P2 and then the E. So at the end of let me actually just open it back up. At the end of a song, even in a normal song, there's an E. And same here, but instead of an E, you have P2, and then the second voices things, and then the E. Currently, Performance only supports 2 voices. If you put in a P3, it will try to put it in both. It will try to show it for both voices, but usually fail to do so and brick your entire song. So just P1, P2, that's it. E. Done. And that's how you do that. That's how you do a duet. If you have trouble with doing duets, just hit me up and I will see if I can help you out. And yeah. Do I certainly not have a fucking duet in here? Huh. Oh well. I have a lot of duets, but not actually timed duets is the thing. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of luck with timing your karaoke things. Bye-bye.